So now in this part, we're going to get started with creating our first Django project. But before we do that, we need to make sure that we have some dependencies installed on our computer. So if you're on Linux, just the way I am here, you don't need to install Python. But if you are on Windows, you need to check if you have your Python installed. So you also need to make sure you have pip installed here on your computer. So in order to check that, you can write in your console python -- version. And here, if you're on Linux, you can write Python 3 version. So as you can see, I have Python installed here, which is obvious because on all Linux systems we have Python installed, but if you're on Windows, you need to have this installed. So we've covered the installation tutorials on our previous tutorial on Python. And you also need to check pip installed, so pip -- version, or I think we need pip 3. So let's check. Okay, no, here that's it. So we have this installed. So first of all, the first thing we need to do here is to create a kind of virtual environment. The reason we do that is that, for example, we have a lot of projects using Django and we do it in different times. So for example, I do one of them here in 2022. I do the other in the next 6 months. So the version of Django might change and I may reinstall it, but my previous Django app might work with the latest version of or the recent version of Django. So it might not work with the current version of Django, right? So the virtual environment here helps us to keep the versions of Django installed in our virtual environment. And virtual environment is different from your computer, your operating system. So we create a virtual environment to keep the versions and the version controlling of our application and keep them in there and do not update them, right? So I'm not gonna talk more about this because I think you understand what I've said right now. So in order to create a virtual environment, you can write, if you are on Windows, you can write pym, and then after that you can write venv, and then the name of the app that you're going to create. So here, because I'm on Linux, I'm gonna write Python, and I think it's Python 3m -m, and then I'm going to write venv or venv, and then I can write my project, or you can write any kind of other name that you want to set for your project. So that's it. As you can see here, we have a folder containing so many different folders that has been created. If you want to check it, you can write ls, and so it's going to show you everything. I can cd to my project or change my directory to my project folder. And here I can write ls, and you can see all of the folders related to that. And now you can write activate in order to activate your virtual environment. So probably I should write activate.bat. In some cases you need to write activate.bat, so not even this one. So now you can write, you need to go to the folder that contains the activate. So here, as you can see, we have activate inside of our bin folder. So let's head to there. So cd bin, and then let's try activate or activate.bat. bat here. So here, instead of activate.bat, as you can see, we have activate.csh, and that is for Linux. If you're on Windows, you need to have activate or activate.bat in order to activate your virtual environment. But here, if you are on Unix systems or Mac, you need to head to bin folder, or when you're on Windows, you need to head over to a script folder, and in there is activate.bat. Here we have our bin folder and activate.csh. So here we're inside of our bin folder, we write activate.csh. I think that I've typed it, or activate.fish, because we have two of these. We need to try all of them in order to see which one works. Activate.fish, not even this one, so let us also try activate. So now here I'm gonna explain this one more time to you, so that the kinds of guidelines that I've told you right now and didn't work might work for you, but here they didn't work for me on Linux. So if you're on Windows, the guidelines that I gave you earlier about how to create a virtual environment and how to go to a scripts file instead of the bin file and use activate.bat or activate is going to work for you if you're on Windows. So because most of you are on Windows, it's going to work. But here, if you're on Linux or Mac, using activate.csh might work for you inside of bin folder, or it might not. For those of you who it didn't work for you, you can use, so let me just go into my project folder related to the virtual environment, and then cd to bin folder. And now we're going to write source dot /source and enter. So this one should work. I've tried this. Let me just do it one more time. Source, and so after that you need to write activate instead of source. So as you can see, it worked. So if you write the name of your virtual environment right here, it shows that your virtual environment has been activated. So right here, we're going to install Django. So as you can see, this one is the correct kind of command for activating your virtual environment. So there might be a lot of different ways through which you can activate your virtual environment. If you face any problem, you can simply Google it. Just the same as I faced an issue, because I've been working on Windows, and then here I'm going to teach everything on Linux. So it might look a bit different, but generally creating virtual environment is not a very big deal. So hope you've done up to now and followed along with this tutorial. So right now we're going to pip install Django. So here I use pip install Django, and as you can see, it installs it. Some of you might need to use pip3 install Django, but here for me pip install Django works. Some of you might use Django with the capital D, which is still fine. And so after a while, the installation is going to get completed, and we're going to continue with the rest of the project. So now, as you can see, Django has been successfully installed, and you can also check the version by typing Django -- version. So probably we should write Python 3, or maybe Django with a capital letter. I'm definitely sure that it has been installed. Sometimes you need to write --v or Django. So here, as you can see, Python, we need to use Python in order to check Django version. as you can see, I've written Python 3 -m Django -- version, and this one is going to show you the version of your Django installed. So if you look here, you will see that some folders has been added to your project related to Django. As you can see, we have Django admin, and there might be some other folders as well. You can also check the version of Django using Django admin -- version, which still is going to show you the same version as this command. So now we're going to create a new project using Django admin. So use Django admin start project, and then we can write the name of the project that we're going to create. So we're going to create a project for adding the members of a class to a table and giving them an ID. So I can write my class. So let's create it. And you should be able to see it inside of your folders. So if you refresh your folders here on VS Code, by the way, let me remove this one. You will be able to see a new folder called my class, which is the result of this name of our project. And it's going to contain some files, one folder and a file called manage.py. So let me cd to the project folder called my class. So as you can see, I've just changed the directory to my class. And now I'm going to write another command. Here we're going to check our connection to Python Django. So I'm going to connect this project that has been created with a number of files containing urls.py, ascii.py, settings.py, and also some other files. So I'm going to stay here in my class project, in my class, the first my class folder, and I'm going to use this manage.py Python files in order to write so many of the commands that I'm going to write. So the first one is to run the server and check it on my local host. So I can write Python 3, or if you're on Windows, you can write Python, then manage.py run server, and if everything works well, you're going to be given an address. Here it says you have 18 unapplied migrations. Okay, it's going to give you this kind of warning, but after using migration, we will be able to activate all of these as well. But for now, if we want to just see everything very well, see if that we're connected to our Django app on our local host, you can paste this address and see if we can connect to this server. So as you can see, it says that the install worked successfully, congratulations, and it should show you right here. And as we go forward, as we try to develop everything, everything works here, and we're going to see some templates, we're going to see some URLs, we're going to add some URLs to here. So for example, I can write, here we have one URL that has been pre-installed and prepared here, which is called admin. If I click on it, you will be able to see a kind of a login to this website here, because I've created another app. As you can see, I've just have saved a username and password which is related to that one, not this one, which may log me in, but not the kind of application that I've created. Okay, let me get back to the main page, which is this one. There we go, and let's go back to our codes. And also, in order to get out of this run server, I can write Control C, and there we go, we can now write the new commands. Now the next command that we're going to use is python free manage.py. So we're going to use manage.py again. As you can see, this file here in my class folder, which is the main folder of our project, is a very important one for running our commands. So here we're going to write start app. This is going to start our application, and it's going to add another folder containing some other Python files that we're going to modify and create our website by ourselves. So start app, python free manage.py start app, and we can here write the name of another name for our app, which we can call it classmates. So the kind of model that we're going to write for these applications is to add the classmates to the class. So I'm gonna write the name of it as classmates. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, we've got db.sqlite3 also created here, and here it also, okay, there we go, we've got everything prepared here. So also let me refresh. As you can see, we've got a new folder created here called classmates next to my class folder. So as you can see here, it contains some other files containing admin.py, apps.py, models.py. This is related to our database and also related to the db.sqlite that has been created right here. Also, we have views.py, which we talked earlier in our previous video. So there we go. Awesome, we've created our project folders and files, and we're ready to modify everything. So in the next part of our tutorials, we're ready to modify our codes and we can get started. And by the way, the first thing that we try to change here in every project is to create our models. And also we're going to test some stuff on our views.py and urls.py.